Good evening. Hope everybody's doing well on this first day of the new year. So I guess I decided I was going to start off things great for the new year with the show. And I reached up to type, and I control the show from my phone. So that's why you normally don't see me reach up for the keyboard or anything like that, because I don't need to. I've got all the little buttons I need on my phone. So anyway, I reached up to type. When I reached up to type, I accidentally hit the button that is marked Stop Streaming. And so that's what happened there momentarily. I apologize. Wow. So, we got a whole new fresh slate in front of us. I hope people got a kick out of my top 10 guaranteed predictions this morning. Tomorrow morning, I have another Art of War 2nd Edition video coming, and if you thought the last two were hated, this next one's going to pull them together. And there's no mystery behind what I'm doing there. Each video leads into the other, but tomorrow it's going to kind of put everything together and put everything in focus. And it's very important because you'll see. I'll explain it tomorrow. But if you don't do things in the manner in which I will be speaking of tomorrow, you're going to put yourself in a lot of bigger issues than you would normally have to deal with. So I know I'm confusing, I'm being vague, but tomorrow morning you will get that next video. If you haven't saw the last two Art of War 2nd Edition videos, I highly suggest you watch them. They're probably not going to be well received and probably not going to be popular because, well, it's the truth. And I've learned since 2015, there's not a whole lot of people that really want to hear the truth. They want to hear their version of the truth, which usually is tagged with something red or something blue, and we don't do that here. So, anywho, let's see. I do have a couple of things wrote down here that I want to take a moment to discuss. First off, I've been having dreams lately, and that you might be thinking, okay, who cares? What makes you special? Well, because I really haven't had a whole lot of dreams for a very, very long time. And they're coming back. And I mean, they are coming back, lots of dreams. Now, I have a hard time remembering them. I did have a dream in which, once again, I wake up and I don't know where I'm at. I can tell you this. For whatever reason, I can tell you it's an Asian country. I don't know. I don't get it. I'm at a complete loss. This is a continuation of dreams that I started having about 10 years ago. And the odd thing is, and I've mentioned this before when I've talked about it, which hasn't been very often, but my phone wouldn't work. Or it either wouldn't work or I couldn't figure out how to operate it. Just something really bizarre where I'd be somewhere where I really wasn't sure where I was, somewhere where I wasn't used to. And then when I tried to be E.T. and phone home, for one reason or another, I couldn't do it. Either the phone was broken, it wouldn't turn on, I couldn't figure out how to use it. Just really weird, bizarre stuff. And I looked down. Thankfully, I did look down. Wow. So, Highlands Husky, you're having lucid dreams as well. See, this is very interesting. So I'm going to give myself a test. And I don't know. Maybe this was the main man throwing the dog a bone here. But so I laid down and I took a nap earlier. And that's when I had the latest dream. I don't remember having phone issues, but I do remember that I woke up and I was somewhere in Asia. And I don't know where in Asia, I don't know why. But I woke up a couple of times when I was taking my nap, and I closed my eyes again and wound up in another dream. And in this second dream, and this is going to be good. So let me explain our cycles, our bill cycles here. So probably somewhere around the 7th of the month, in about 6 more days, they will be taking meter readings for the power. And the reason I know this isn't because they come out, because I can read it from the office. They are supposed to be able to read our water meter from the office as well, but something or another doesn't work correctly, and so they actually have to walk up, right up to where on the other side of the wall where the meter is, because the meter is actually on the inside. So there's a pipe that just goes up into the wall, and they just got to walk up near that and put their little handheld device near it, and I guess it'll pick up the signal the antenna's putting out, and it will, it'll go ahead and register it and what have you. So that's how we know when they're doing the meter reading, because we actually see somebody physically come so they can check our water. And then usually it's somewhere around, 3 to 5 days or so after that we get the bill. I want to explain all that because I want you to understand that there's no way for me to know what that power bill is going to be. We still have, roughly 6 more days that is still unaccounted for on the meter, so that could make a big difference. And obviously, we don't have the final meter reading, so there's no way for me to know what this next bill is. However, in the dream I had, because I even had to ask Jen, that's how vivid it was. I had to ask Jen this evening, wait a minute, and I looked at her and I said, you didn't tell me the power bill today, did you? Which sounds really stupid because we won't know that for another, 10, 11, 12 days, right? So she just kind of looks at me funny. I looked at her and I cannot remember the exact amount, but I do remember that in the dream the bill was something like, it was 280 something. I think it was 284. Could have been 283 and some change. I can't remember. But, yeah. So we're going to see. We're going to test this. We'll have the bill sometime, I guess, between the 11th and the 15th. And we're going to see. The reason why this would be significant in and of its own is because we're not doing anything the same that we did last year. Last year, we actually started out the first cool month. We were going to try to use the regular furnace and see how that worked out. And we used the regular furnace for, not even maybe a week or so before the meter was read. And we got the bill. We're like, oh no, we're not doing that. Yeah, it was an insane bill. And we didn't even have to use it much. So enough of that. Turn that furnace back off and drug out the oil-filled space heaters. And then that's what we continued to heat with last year. Well, as you may or may not be aware, I've talked about it, there's videos on it, but I wanted to give the diesel parking heater a really good testing. And so I started out, I had it here in the living room, and yeah, about the first half an hour of that, and that had to change because that damn thing was prying me out of my chair. So I set it up in the kitchen, and we've been using it ever since. That thing is just incredible, and it's done a really, really good job of heating this place very cheap. Now, right now, we don't have anything on. I'm showing 53 degrees outside. I'm sweating. Partially because I do when I do the show. I run a little warmer when I do the show. But yeah, it's warm in here. Hang on. Yeah, I got a thermometer on the half wall there, and it's saying 79. It's not accurate, so don't think, man, you're a madman. No, it's not 79 degrees in here. It's probably about 72, 73 degrees in here. So, and there's no heat on. None. So that's the good part of living in this house. If the temperatures outside are in the 50s, 60s, man, it does a real good job of retaining that heat into the evening. And then once, around 11 or so o'clock at night, then it starts to cool off a bit. But like I won't even I'm not even going to start the diesel heater tonight because it's not worth the diesel. It's just not. I'm going to let the space heaters kick on, let them do it. That would be nice, watching from the sauna, or even better, a hot tub. I'm anxious to see this bill, and that's why it makes a big difference, is because we've not heated this way or anything like that. What was our last bill? 3 what? Okay, she said almost 350 was our last bill. The last bill, which did have a little bit of diesel heater on it. The rest was the space heaters. So, yeah. If when it's been cooler, and of course we had that real nasty cold spell that'll be on this bill, going from that almost 350 down to 280 will be significant, and I think this is probably going to be pretty accurate. So anyway, that's my test to see if my my prophetic dreams are back. So be interesting. If that's going to be incredible if that's accurate. I won't be as surprised as what most people would think I would be, because believe me, it's not anything new. It's just been a while. So it's just been a while. In fact, I met Jen 2-3 years before I actually met her. I met her in a dream, and in the dream we were together. There were many dreams that I had that Jen was in them, and it was before I met her, and kind of hard to mistake her. It was her, and yeah, so 2-3 years before I met Jen, I dreamed about her, several dreams about her. So anyway, I got one other thing written down here that I wanted to discuss. I got tabs open. I'm not going to cover the news all the way from Friday just because it's the first day back of the new year and all that good stuff. So I do have one other note written down that this is going to get hated. well, not by everyone. In fact, most of you probably would like the idea, but YouTube creators would hate the idea. I think it would be cool if this Susan chick, whatever her last name is, that one of the head honchos here at YouTube, I think it would be awesome if they would come out with a new policy and announcement that said that YouTube creators could no longer delete comments. That would be so cool. Hey, there's no hookers allowed here. No hooker. You got the hooker? Oh, okay, I got the hooker. No hookers allowed. What are you thinking? Sheesh. Anyway, now back to the hooker-free chat. No, we don't have a cage or anything. I don't. Sorry, Hexapoose, I didn't notice that. I've got actually 2 chats. I didn't notice either one. No, I don't have anything. I don't do anything special around the meter or anything like that. I focus on my brain, so I just put all the tinfoil around my head. And no, no, I don't. I know some people do different things to contain, if you will, the Wi-Fi signals and all that good stuff. So I don't think it's that easy at this point anymore, though, because I don't think it's necessarily being done wirelessly at this point. I don't think it's being done wirelessly at this point. I think they do it through the power. So they've been sending data through power for decades. So that's absolutely nothing new. And to reinforce that, back when I was in college for auto mechanics, this is way back now, so they didn't have the little handheld OBD scanners. Well, they were just coming out, the handheld OBD stuff. That was just coming out at this time. And we had the old Bearcat machine. Some folks will know what that is. We had the old Bearcat machine, and so that's essentially what a lot of that machine did, is it read signals that came through, in one instance, that came through the spark plug wires. And you could hook up the probes to each of the spark plug wires, and it could tell you, obviously, not only if a cylinder was missing, but it could also give you an approximate compression of the cylinders. And it did that because of the electrical signals, the feedback that came back from the spark plug into the computer. It could analyze that and could give you a ballpark. It wasn't perfect, but it could give you a ballpark. So they've been reading, sending and reading data through electricity, through an electrical connection for a really long time. I think that's how they're doing it now. I don't think they're doing it, and the reason why is because there was a big pushback, and when it comes to that Wi-Fi signal, you have some say-so over that. You have different laws that protect you, that in most states, you have some say over that. However, if they remove that aspect and they do it through the connection itself, you can no longer opt out for that reason. And in fact, I can't think of a single reason you could opt out of a smart meter as long as they stop the Wi-Fi part of it. So, just kind of a little nugget to store. I don't think they're doing it wirelessly anymore. And you can also go look at the patents and stuff like that. So they've had the capability for a while as far as being able to do that, but I think they were focusing on the Wi-Fi part of it. And basically because they were trying to fit everything into a nice, neat little the Internet of Things package, IoT package, is kind of what they were trying to do. Yeah, they'll do that. They'll charge you more. Hexapro said they told him it'd be an extra $30 if on his bill if he opted out. Yeah, they will absolutely do that. The whole reason why is because a lot of people aren't going to be willing to pay that $30, and so that's enough right there. It's crazy, and they'll tell you, oh well, that's because we have to send somebody out to read the meter. So, $30 per meter for them to manually read it. It doesn't make a lot of sense, and the reason why I say that is because all of these systems have bad ones, if you will. Like I talked about our water meter and how they actually have to come out and get their handheld device close to where the actual meter is. The meter's on the inside here, but they just walk up to the wall where the pipe goes in from outside into the house. They just walk up to next to where that is and hold the handheld by it, and it's good enough to pick it up. Told them they're welcome to come anytime and fix it, but anyway, so there are clearly meters that don't function appropriately. We see Ameren, which we don't have Ameren. Our power is through the city of Highland. However, gas, if folks have gas, that's through Ameren. That's not through the city of Highland. So every month we see an Ameren car running around. And they're the same thing. They got smart meters, but there are certain people's meters that, for whatever reason, aren't being read by the system. So they have to go out and manually, not necessarily read and write down the number, but get up close to it with their handheld just to capture that signal. So, I don't know. It is what it is. So, to me, that's kind of crazy because they're already out there anyway. They're already out there because they have to manually read equipment that's not functioning properly. So to charge you $30 for them just to drive to your particular residence, and and in that case, yeah, they would have to go up and punch in numbers or write them down on a sheet of paper, but actually they'd probably be entering it on a tablet these days. But yeah, kind of crazy. I'm looking, Yeah, we got both our modem and our router is from the town here, and the only reason why is because they're a commercial router. They're like a really, really super good quality router. So that's why I go with it. And the modem, we ain't got a. Well, I guess we probably could have a choice if we really wanted. But they did. I don't know why. I guess just the sound of it more than anything, the selling factor of it. But here they have what they call fiber to the home. And so we literally have a fiber optic cable that comes through our wall in the back bedroom and connects directly into their modem. And I would assume you could go out and buy a fiber optic modem and your own and hook it up, I guess. I'm not sure. I'm sure you'd have to configure it and whatnot, but something I've never dealt with. I've never actually myself dealt with anything fiber optic other than get the service, and man, is it some awesome service, I'll tell you that. We got, I think it's the second to the lowest package that you can get. I think the lowest you can get is 30 megabytes per second, and I think we got 40 megabytes per second, and that's all we got. But it's I forget the term. I screw it up all the time. I say synchronous. It might be asynchronous. I don't know. It's the same upload and I'm not a network guy. I always let people know that. I know computer hardware well, but I am not a network guy. Anyway, our upload and download are both 40 meg. It's not, I don't have 40 meg download and 5 meg upload or nothing like that. It's the same both ways. So, let's see. I think I got everything. Reminder again tomorrow morning. Art of War 2nd Edition video will be wrapping up the last 2 Art of War videos, which were not well received. I didn't think they would be. Tomorrow, it's not going to be well received, but it's going to be accurate. That's what it is. But I think folks understand where I was coming from with the last 2 videos. Like I say, it kind of brings it all together and brings it to a head and explains why I said those things, why I firmly stand behind those things, as well as the scripture stands behind those things. So, alright, sip of coffee. Like I said, I got some tabs open here. Not a lot tonight. 7 tonight. That's not too bad. Well, 7 tabs, 1's a video. Figured I'd show you guys a little snippet from my OnlyFans channel. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. An incident that happened near Kansas City, Kansas, so I believe that area. Alright. I think I'm caught up on all the other stuffs I was going to discuss. Let me kick on over the web browser. You have gone incognito. You might have hit a shortcut or something like. Just close it. That's not a big deal. Let's see. Okay, I got you where we are. Okay. Had to check. I got that group I take care of over on local group on Facebook, so when I get notifications for that, it's a priority. Alright, so anyway, I've got, like I say, like 7 tabs open. One of them's a short video. I'm going to start off talking about Ukraine, Russia, real quick. As you see the headline say, Ukraine kills and injures Donbass civilians, says officials. Now, I'm not sure in which order any and all of this happened, so just because I'm covering this before I cover the next one doesn't mean I'm saying this happened first or anything like that. In fact, the next one's going to cover a course of a few days, so it would be safe to say that this happened within that 3-day period, I believe. Anyway, the city of Donetsk, as well as other locations across the Donetsk and Lugansk People's Republics, came under heavy artillery and rocket attacks by Kiev forces overnight, according to local authorities. Officials claim the shelling targeted primarily residential areas and continued into the day, with the Ukrainian military using 155mm NATO caliber artillery and Western-supplied multiple rocket launchers. 3 people, including a 3-month-old boy, were injured as a result of shelling in Donetsk Central District, the city's mayor, Alexei Kulmazin, reported on Sunday. More than 15 civilians were injured in the attacks on the town of Makivka, a satellite of Donetsk, located immediately to the northeast of the city. The town, has been repeatedly targeted with various weaponry over the past 24-hour period, according to local authorities. At least 6 civilians were killed in the Ukrainian attack on a hospital located at the town of Pervomysk in the LPR. I'm sure I said that way wrong. A deputy head physician of the hospital, Tatyana Kovalyeva, that might be somewhere in the direction, Kovalyeva, told RIA Novosti the facility was targeted with rocket salvos 3 times with intervals of some 30 minutes in an apparent double-tap effort to strike the hospital itself and then first responders. At least 6 people have been killed, and the figure may grow as we're still searching through debris, Kovalyeva stated. Cities of Donbass have been repeatedly subjected to heavy artillery and rocket attacks by Kiev troops amid the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, with more than 1,000 civilians perishing last year in the DPR alone. So, kind of give you an idea of what happened from that direction. I think it was BP Earthwatch this morning. Or it might have been from last night. He had put out a video. Can't remember exactly when. And in that video, he linked this article. This article, when you natively open it, and I did share it out on Twitter, when you natively open it, it will be in, I guess it's Russian. But, just a simple right click and translate to English takes care of it for me. So I'm just letting you know, if you go to Twitter to go to this link, you're gonna, unless you know Russian, you're gonna have to translate it. Thank you, Google, for that. Russia prepares something very big, hits base of NATO advisors and mercenaries. Missile waves with 400 missiles and drones in 3 days. So, wow. Now, it seemed like some cat on some YouTube channel that looks eerily similar to ours was talking about that, about how the rocket attacks were going to be picking up. Man, just can't remember what channel that was. Anyway, Happy New Year's was wished by B. Putin to NATO and B. Zelensky, with the Russian Air Force and Navy launching 2 fierce successive missile attacks within a few hours against military targets throughout the country. Russia has refuted British intelligence on the ground, pounding Ukraine for 3 days in a row, which has never been done before, shows the preparation for a large-scale ground attack. I would say there's probably some truth to that. Today it launched 2 missile waves, yesterday 1, and on the 29th of the month, 2 more. Total 5 missile attacks with over 400 missiles and drones. Today alone, the first wave included 70 missiles. A few hours later, a second wave followed. Within minutes, there were mass launches from the Caspian, Black Sea, Western Russia from warships and strategic bombers. Russia claims a hotel in central Kiev that was hosting NATO advisors and foreign mercenaries was hit. command centers, energy facilities, anti-aircraft bases were also hit in, oh my goodness, Khmelnytsky, Kiev region, Kharkiv region, Vinnytsia region, Odessa, I never can say this one, Dnepropetrovsk region, not even close, Nikolaev, Zhytomyr, I have no idea, Ternopil region, Zaporozhye, would that be Zaporozhye, maybe? Let's see, Kiev, those are power outages, sorry, power outages in Kiev region, Kharkiv, and the Kharkiv region, so that says Russian Strategic Air Force and the Black and Caspian Sea Fleet launched another missile attack on the territory of Ukraine. Eyewitnesses reported dozens of cruise missiles in the skies over Ukraine. The aim of the Russian bombings was the energy and not only the infrastructure of Ukraine, but also the neutralization of the air defense. They're getting ready to move in a big way, I'm telling you. As reported by the French news agency, it was one of the biggest attacks launched since the beginning of the war. At least 10 explosions shook Kiev. Odessa, Lviv, Kharkov, Zhytomyr, oh my goodness, all these again, I'm just going to say all these again, were also affected. In response, the Ukrainian military launched unmanned aerial vehicles into Crimea. All enemy objects were intercepted by Russian air defense forces near Dzhankoy. That's right, I don't know. As deputy head of the Security Council of the Russian Federation, Dmitry Medvedev, said in his New Year's address, the goal of the Russian operation remains to put an end to the criminal Nazi regime in Kiev. This goal will be achieved, said the former prime minister. Now, hold up. Because initially, this was about, however you want to word it, I'll say liberating or annexing, I don't know what word to put on it, but it was basically Russia just bringing in Donetsk and Lugansk regions because they supposedly wanted to be a part of Russia. Now, there was a vote taken, and that is what it is. I can't say anything more than that. That's all I can say with certainty is that there was a vote taken, and it turned out that the people voted in favor to be a part of Russia. So that was what we were running on, was the reason for the season, if you will. Now it's changed. Now it's to put an end to the criminal Nazi regime in Kiev. So it seems like the mission, the objective, is changed a little bit here. I had been saying recently that I thought that the missile attacks were going to really step up and that they were getting ready to move in. And I don't know, to me it was obvious. Now we're starting to see that happen. So I will stretch this a little bit further out and say that I think you're about to see NATO be full stop involved. I think that when Russia makes that push on the ground, I think that is how, however it turns out, when NATO will get involved directly. Not just indirectly, but directly. So we'll see. I think that's coming very, very quick. Okay, this here says, was the base of NATO advisors and Western mercenaries bombed? Says Kiev was hit particularly hard. Emergency services rushed to the streets of Kiev after at least 10 loud explosions were heard. Most of the strikes in Kiev were in the two outlying areas of the capital, but one rocket attack partially destroyed the Alphavito Hotel in central Kiev. Russian media reports that the hotel in the Pechersky district of Kiev, where foreign mercenaries and NATO military advisors were staying, was bombed. This is the 4-star hotel Alphavito in the Pechersky district, I'm probably saying it way wrong, near the Ukraine Palace on Predslavinsky Street. hard to say that stuff because I barely know English. It says here, second wave of missile attack caliber from Caspian Sea. Later, Russia fired a second wave of missiles from Russian Navy ships in the Caspian Sea. I pee freely. Oh, man. Let's see. This was stated by the head of the administration of the Zhytomyr region, where a series of explosions occurred. New explosions occurred in Ternopil and Kyiv regions. Oh my goodness, we're doing this again. Explosions occurred in the Kharkiv, Vinnytsia, Kramatorsk, Slavyansk, Zhytomyr, I'm not sure how to say that, Mervin, Ternopil, Lviv, Krivoy, Rog regions. Yeah, I'm sure I got them way off. My apologies. I tried, though. The Russian military launched a missile attack on the Armed Forces military base in the Chernihiv region, said Vyacheslav Chauts, head of the regional administration. There's two languages that I struggle with. Like you went, well, actually, all languages I struggle with. But Russian, yeah, that one's a bear for me. And of course, like anything like Mandarin or anything that uses those types of symbols, I have no clue. I can't even begin on those. But even with regular English-looking letters, I struggle real bad with Russian and German. I don't know why. German I can do a little better than Russian, but... let's see. Anyway, it just goes on to tell you, Kyiv says 30% of the homes are without electricity. They wished him a happy birthday. That was nice of them. And that's it. That's the end of the article. If you want to read it all, I shared it out on Twitter. Just remember, you'll have to do the, you can't see it when I do it, but on computer, I just right-click it. I use Google Chrome, and it says translate to English, and it's a done deal, so. Cheat. Drink a coffee. Oh, man. Sorry for the slurpage. I'm thirsty. Alright. Shift gears a little bit. Gonna go on over to Rotterdam. Where the hell is Rotterdam? That sucks. I don't even know where Rotterdam is. Hang on. I gotta know now. Largest seaport. Yeah, but what? Holland? Holland. Yay. Okay. Bolivian natives could be mistaken as Asian. If you're referring to my dreams, I couldn't, it's not that I could tell you that that would be incorrect, that there's no way it could be Bolivia. I don't know. In fact, I don't completely know how it is I can say it's an Asian, but I just know. Yes, obviously, some of the dreams I interacted with people, and those individuals were definitely of Asian-looking descent. But I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. I can't tell the difference between, I don't know, someone from Japan, Taiwan, someone from probably even the Koreas. North Korea, South Korea? No, I couldn't. I personally cannot differentiate between, and I know a lot of them can. I know it's like the old thing they claim is racist, but it's just true. Like Caucasians can see the differences in other Caucasians more. The same is true with all different ethnicities. So, but no, I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't tell you if they could be mistaken as Asian, and that could be just as accurate as any other answer. So I appreciate you telling me that, because that opens my mind up more. So thank you for telling me that. Let's see. New Year festivities marred by riots. Again, it's Rotterdam that this happened. They're searching for unknown perpetrators, either way, who displayed offensive, racially charged messages on the Erasmus Bridge in the center of the city amid New Year's festivities. The offensive display appeared just after the turn of the new year early on Sunday amid celebrations centered around the bridge. Although the planned fireworks had been canceled due to high winds in the area, a large number of revelers who were still present at the site to enjoy the messages, while the whole event was also broadcast live on RTL4. The offensive messages included the notorious 14 words by the late U.S. white supremacist and convicted domestic terrorist David Lane, widely used by assorted neo-Nazis and white supremacists worldwide, as well as the slogan White Lives Matter. Now, I've noticed how the whole White Lives Matter thing has been adopted, if you will. That did not start out with roots of white supremacy. It did not. Did not. That started out by the average everyday Joe and Jane. Is where that came from. But you will see, and I don't think it's no accident. I'm not apologetic about it. I think a lot of these quote-unquote supremacy groups, and I have to say quote-unquote because some of them are just absolute bullshit to begin with, but they're your federal agents. They are your federal agents. I can assure you. I just watched a video. I think it was from News to Share. Oh, goodness. Where was it from? It was not that long ago. It was real recent. There was some type of a drag queen event somewhere. I can't remember. If you go to the News to Share, you'll see it. It's not been but the last 2-3 days. You can tell. You can tell things. And there was a guy that was, they kept calling them Nazis, right? The Antifa-looking dressed people, not vehicles, but there were people that were dressed, I'll say, like Antifa, all faces, all head, you know the drill. And anyway, so there was a religious group there that was protesting this drag queen event, and these Antifa types were calling them Nazis and stuff, which, believe me, I don't think there's any, I don't think that's by accident at all. That's not a coincidence. Anyway, one of them, there was and if you see the video, those that can pick up on it, they'll know. There was a real big dude dressed like an Antifa dude, full face mask and the whole 9 yards, that was constantly in people's faces. And I mean, he was a big dude. He probably stood definitely over 6 foot, 6'6" or so, my guess. Probably weighed 350, something like that would be my guess. He was a big dude, and he was all up in those guys' faces, right? And these guys are just, you know, they're out there praying, they're out there, they're doing their thing, right? They're protesting, and they're doing their thing. And this dude was doing everything he could to provoke one of them. And I'm telling you right now, that's an agent. That is a federal freaking agent, and it's not by chance. Earlier in the day, I believe actual white supremacists, or those who claim to be white supremacists, showed up at this, I believe it was the same event, and like usual, they get ran off, right? But they're there for a photo op. That's why they're there. Even with the truckers' protest up in Canada, you saw it. You saw the white supremacists come in. They carried Confederate flags, and hey, I don't got anything against the Confederate flag because I know what the hell it means. And anyway, So they carried Confederate flags and they dressed like white supremacists and all that stuff. They were only there for a photo op. They didn't expect to stay there long. They knew better than that. But all they have to do is show up, let a few pictures get taken, let the media run with that, and that's what they need to do. And I guarantee you that those people doing that, those quote-unquote white supremacists, are federal agents. I'll bet my own life on it, because I know how these people work. And that is exactly how they work. They are the scum of the earth, the lowest lives that there is that exist on this planet. People that would pull that. People that would accept a paycheck to be a traitor. Traitor to the citizens of the country that you swore an oath to protect. That takes a pretty damn big dirtbag, in my opinion. Unapologetic about it. My dad had a saying for people like that. Not worth the cum it took to conceive them. I know, a bit graphic. My dad was a bit graphic. Yeah, that was kind of fast. Man. They flew through here. There's like a yield sign. Like, we're like in the middle of the block. Like, so not even a half of a small town block. We're not talking about big, huge city blocks. So about a half of a small town block, there's a yield sign. So they didn't even consider no less yield. Anyway, moving on. So this is what's going on. I watched the video of it. The only thing you see on the bridge support is White Lives Matter in the video. You don't see any of the other stuff that they said appeared. So I can't tell you, again, this is media. A lot of times that the individuals involved in this racist activity, in my opinion, the majority of it, federal agents. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to bring down anyone that stands for light. Anyone that stands for anything good, they have to do everything to turn that around and make them look like they're evil. Literally what the CIA was formed to do. Imagine that. Just not on its own citizens. The FBI wasn't formed to do that to its own citizens, but I don't think it took very long for them to soil that agency. So this happened in the big NYC. Man strikes cops with machete in New York. And I'll read a bit of it here. It says, machete-wielding man attacked police officers on Saturday evening, not far from Times Square in New York City, where New Year's Eve celebrations were taking place. The suspect was shot in the shoulder and taken to the hospital, police said. Speaking at a press conference in the early hours of Sunday, New York City Police Commissioner Keechant Sewell said that incident took place around 10 p.m., just outside the security screening area established for the festivities. The man first attempted to strike an officer over the head with a machete and then proceeded to hit two of his colleagues on the head, Sewell added. One of the officers suffered a laceration to the head as a result, while the other, a rookie policeman, in his first day on the job, sustained a skull fracture and a large laceration. That was a machete there that was recovered at the scene. It's a kukri. Or kukri? Kukri. Yeah, kukri. I don't know why I said kukri. Kukri. Anyway, I want one of those. I don't have a kukri. I would really like to have a kukri. And I mean it. I love it. That's actually my favorite knife. as far as if you're going to carry something for defense and or machete-ish to be able to take down whatever, branches, twigs, weeds, whatever you need to take down, legs, whatever. Yeah, kukri. I really want one of those. Another officer was hit by a police car when he tried to move the barricades to give his colleagues access to the assailant, Fox News reported. New York City Mayor Eric Adams, a former NYPD cop, spoke to the media and praised the officers for their professional handling of the situation. According to the city authorities, all 3 officers are currently in the hospital in a stable condition. The 19-year-old suspect, identified as Trevor Bickford, approached the officers for no apparent reason, with the motive remaining unclear, police said. I want to be clear that the FBI, through the Joint Terrorism Task Force, is working very closely with the NYPD to determine the nature of this attack, the FBI's Assistant Director in Charge, Michael Driscoll, said at a news conference. We will run every lead to the ground, the official pledged, adding that this is very much an ongoing investigation, so our ability to talk about specifics is limited. Officials also assured New Yorkers there was no active threat, as the suspect is believed to have acted alone. Yeah, they're not being really transparent there. If you ever want to know about somebody that was involved in something like this, put their name in Google and type in heavy after it. And what you will get is heavy.com with their article. And I'm telling you, these folks are on it. So, again, if you ever want to do a little bit of digging into someone that just did something crazy like that, put their name in Google, space, and the word heavy, and you'll get this. Trevor Bickford is a 19-year-old man from Wells, Maine, who is accused of the New Year's Eve knife attack on police near Times Square in New York City, according to NBC New York reporter Jonathan Dienst. Knife attack on cops near Times Square investigated as possible terror incident. Sources say suspect is 19-year-old Trevor Bickford from Wells, Maine, Dienst tweeted in the early morning hours of January 1, 2023. Citing law enforcement sources, the New York Post reported that Bickford is an alleged Islamic extremist who became a radicalized Muslim in recent years, ending up on an FBI watch list. So, wow, yet again, how does this even happen? I know, it's just really bad luck for the FBI, right? Just really bad luck for the FBI. It's gotta be all those times. Just really bad luck. 3 officers were injured, Mayor Eric Adams said in an early morning press conference on January 1, 2023. And here's what it says you need to know. Bickford is accused of wanting to fight in Afghanistan with Islamic militants and striking the officers in the head with a machete, reports say. Number 2, if we can find it again. Bickford was shot at the scene after traveling to New York on Amtrak with a will, reports say. So apparently, he pretty well figured he wasn't going to make it. Number 3, Bickford's father died young of an overdose. One of the officers had just graduated from the police officer. Okay, I guess those. I don't know if this is really telling you much just by reading those headlines. I think I'd have to read the entirety of it for you to get the gist of everything they're saying. But I think you get the idea with what I've read so far. He's been on the FBI watch list. It definitely seems to be something terrorist related, and he was a jihadist. So, that pretty well, I think, says a lot. It's amazing, though. I bet they're not running with, maybe Fox News might be running with that, but I bet they're the only ones running with it. I'm sure that, I'm sure that many of the other news channels are more interested in telling you what J-Lo's fat ass wore last night. I don't know. But they're probably not going to be telling you the truth about this cat. Crazy, huh? So, and more craziness from the evening last night. This was like somewhere around Kansas City. I don't know exactly where this was at. I believe a skating rink. I don't know a lot of details. Miko Hayes was the one that shared it out on Facebook, and I became aware of it through Miko's profile, but that's honestly all I know about this. So it's 20-second video. You're going to see two teens getting pummeled by cops. What is not very apparent is there is going to be a girl being pummeled by a female, what I believe to be a female officer, and then you're going to see a boy, and that's what you're going to see. You're going to see the boy getting pummeled and pepper sprayed and stuff like that. You have to look in the background to see it happening to the girl. But anyway, make sure my audio is on, and away we go. Like usual, I'll play it 2-3 times, so. Alright, one more time just so you can, usually I have to watch a video the first time just to see where I want to look at. So. That teenage boy flat out squared off with that officer. I mean, flat out squared off with him. Even after he was sprayed with mace, he was still, he was still a little bit interested. A little bit. Not nearly as interested before the pepper spray, but, yikes. So that went on, and I'm not taking any sides on anything because I don't know anything about that. I really don't. I tried reading through the comments, but, there's more emotion in the comments than there is information, so I didn't take any of it, to heart, so to speak. Don't know. If you want to look into it, I believe it was a skating rink somewhere around the Kansas City, Kansas area, and I believe that's around the area that Miko is in, and, so, yeah. By the way, that video was, Jonisha Newbie. That would be Juliet Oscar, Hotel November India Sierra Hotel Alpha November Echo Whiskey Bravo Yankee. For the phoneticers out there. Anyway, moving on. Up to 500 dying every week because of UK hospital delays, says physician. Delays in British emergency departments could be causing between 300 and 500 deaths each week, says Royal College of Emergency Medicine President Dr. Adrian Boyle has told Times Radio. According to data from NHS England, 37,837 patients waited more than 12 hours to be admitted to emergency departments in November, up from 10,646 in November 2021. Although figures for December have yet to be released, Boyle told The Times that he'd be amazed if they weren't the worst on record. What we're seeing now in terms of these long waits is being associated with increased mortality, and we think somewhere between 300 to 500 people are dying as a consequence of delays and problems with urgent and emergency care each week, he said, in remarks quoted by multiple British media outlets on Sunday. We need to actually get a grip on this, he continued. We need to increase our capacity within our hospitals. We need to make sure that there are alternative ways so that people aren't just funneled into the ambulance service and emergency department. While hospitals are typically more crowded in winter, this season saw strikes by nurses and ambulance staff in December and a virulent outbreak of influenza in recent weeks. According to NHS data, 3,746 people per day were hospitalized with the flu in the week leading up to Christmas, up from 2,088 per day a week earlier. While cases of COVID-19 remain low throughout the UK, staff absences due to the virus were up more than 47% in December compared to November, The Guardian reported. So that's what's going on over there. I hear that our hospitals and stuff are having a bit more issues as well. I don't know if it's to that level, but nonetheless, medical systems around the world are pretty strained for lots of reasons. I mean, some was because, well, a lot of people lost their jobs because, well, they didn't want to be forced to do something they shouldn't have to be forced to do. So you got a lot of people there that were out, and then of course the UK had strikes and a lot of nonsense going on in medical community. And hey, I'm not, I need to be fair and put both sides, but in general, the treatment of nurses and doctors have really, the treatment by patients has really gone through the floor. There's a lot of nurses and doctors that really have to put up with a lot and deal with a lot in comparison before the whole COVID thing. So the attitude towards them as professionals or or not so much is not in good shape. The relationship there has pretty well been lost in a lot of cases. So yeah, the flu's back. Yeah, influenza's back. For now, until the new strain comes and gets us, and then, there'll be no more influenza again. A flu by any other name. Let's see. I thought this was quite an insane story. Have a couple of vapes where you just kind of look at it and, what the hell is going on in that library? Damn, yo. No, there's actually a reason for this. I'm sure the article will cover it. It's not that, librarians gone wild or anything on OnlyFans or nothing. That's not the issue. I'm pretty sure I know what the issue would be. I haven't read the article, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be probably at least said to be a result of the homeless. But I haven't read the article in its entirety, so I can't say for sure. Now that I can't see the screen. Let's see. The main public library in Boulder, Colorado has been temporarily closed due to heavy drug contamination caused by an influx of meth-smoking visitors, according to local officials. Yeah, man, because, there's nothing better than smoking a spoonful of meth. I don't do meth. I don't know nothing about it. I know you don't smoke a spoonful. It was a joke, but anyway, is that a thing where you smoke meth and go to the library and read? Because I don't think that's a thing. Anyway, the facility was shut down on December 20th after higher than acceptable methamphetamine levels were found in the restroom air duct. We're not talking about on the sink. No, in the air duct. Anyway, the decision to close the library and undertake additional environmental testing was prompted by a recent spike in reports of individuals smoking in public restrooms over the past 4 weeks. They added, swab samples were taken from surfaces inside and outside the restrooms. The test showed that residue inside the ducts had higher than acceptable levels of methamphetamine. I would say any levels higher than acceptable, but the ducts blow air and contaminants outside the building, but it's not yet clear what, if any, level of contaminants is on surfaces, the statement read. So I wonder if you get one dude that's in the bathroom and another dude outside where the vents are going, oh yeah. I mean, it could happen. The city provided an update on the situation on December 28th, revealing that the test had shown that the drug contamination was confined largely to public restrooms, with some limited impacts to highly trafficked seating areas. The affected areas will be subjected to professional remediation, and the facility is expected to reopen on January 3rd at the earliest. However, the library's restrooms may remain out of service after this date, the city warned. Yeah, they're going to try to prevent people from doing that. Consideration is being given to the level of restroom service in the building will need in the future and how to ensure that no illegal activity occurs in these private and enclosed spaces. It is not yet clear if and when public restrooms will be brought back, it explained. The meth incident has attracted widespread attention from the media, the authorities noted, pledging to release detailed test results on the levels of drug contamination at the library in the near future. Now, I find that kind of interesting because, and it's different places, and it's not just different with different states, but it's also different with different counties in different states as far as what amenities that by law you have to provide. However, I do believe in many, if not most, what's considered a public place, they have to make a restroom available. So, kind of interesting that they will allow the library to be open, even though the public restrooms would not be able to be open. Now, that's typically a kind of the thing that the left pushes. So, but it's been supported by the right as well, as far as this public restroom thing. And for the most part, it does make sense. I get it, except, unfortunately, they use laws like that to trap up people they don't like. Like in some instances, if you run a business or whatever, you have to provide a restroom, right? Good luck getting them to give you a break on that. So, yeah, Boulder, Colorado, Steve. So, I don't know which library in Boulder, so I don't know which one to tell you to go and stand and stick your head next to the vent, but I'm kidding, Steve. Yeah, somewhere in Boulder. I don't know if it said which one or not. It probably did. It just says the main public library, so the main one. So, yeah, crazy. We'll see what happens. Yeah, right? Steve said figures, right? I think that's one of the places that you can legally do psychedelics now, if I'm not mistaken. I believe, isn't it? I can't remember if it's Oregon or Washington. And I think Colorado, or at least Boulder or something like that, you can do hallucinogens there. So, crazy. Let's see. All right. Got some headlines for you. Like I said, I'm not going to go all the way back to Friday. Hell, it's already 9:15. I've been a jabber monkey tonight. Going to run through the headlines and get some shut-eye. I don't know. I woke up, well, I don't know. I laid down last night. I think I dozed off for a little bit, and then I remember getting up, and I do remember hearing, I do believe, a few gunshots at midnight. So I was up for midnight. I think I heard a few gunshots. They weren't fireworks, I can tell you that much. I believe I've heard of one of each. I think I heard a shotgun, a rifle, and a pistol, if my hearing was correct. But it sounded like it was a little distance away. Probably my guess would be maybe about 3 blocks or so would be my guess. I don't know. I don't care. Not a big deal to me. It's Highland. I don't have to hit the deck or anything like that. It's all good. Let's see. Yeah, still sleeping a lot. Yeah, I know. It's yeah, people a lot of times they really do party it up for New Year's. We didn't. Our friend Vi came over. We had turkey. She was ill, so she actually went home a little early because she was ill. Feeling better today. Happy to report. But anyway, she come over. We had turkey, and kind of more or less did the Thanksgiving thing on New Year's, kind of, and then because we really didn't do the Thanksgiving thing, and we had been, I don't know, several years prior, she had come over for Thanksgiving, but she didn't this year, and so we just kind of more or less just did that for yesterday. But yeah, so we were in bed, probably about 11:30, I think, something like that, and I think I just dozed off and woke up, and I heard like, boom, psh, pop, so three very distinct sounds. So anyway, another sip of coffee. I had 0 to drink last night because usually homie don't play that, but I would have, and I thought about it. I thought, man, it would be nice to have, I don't know, a little vodka and orange juice or, I don't know, something. But it's not something I do very often. You can count on one hand and have several fingers left on how many times I drink a year. And in fact, my brother had given me some beers. Actually, one day, I don't know, it's been months ago. They're still in the fridge, right? I don't drink. Not really interested in drinking. But once in a while, I actually do crave a beer. And once in a great while, I crave a beer. And just haven't craved one. So I haven't drank them. Probably be nasty by the time I drink them. But anyway, let's do some headlines. Oh my goodness, why did you have to say that? Cinnamon coffee cake. Bastard, I say. Okay, so here's the deal. You make one, you have to send me one. Anyway, let's see. I made some of my homemade chocolate pudding. No, get any bad thoughts out of your head. It's a recipe. We got we got powdered milk, and it's actually a recipe on the side of the box. So, all right, let's do some headlines and run outside and flail our arms in the air and say the end is nigh. Come on, you got to do it with me tonight. Start the year off right. Make your neighbors move. All right, Brits rush to buy energy-saving appliances, says Financial Times. Ooh, Vanilla, you're not making this any easier for me, Hexafus. Seriously, vanilla pudding inside? Dude. That sounds so good. I just got to put that all together because I have to do it that justice. You could leave the walnuts out though, but I'll put it in there. Walnut cinnamon coffee cake with vanilla pudding center. Oh, I know, right? You can blame Hexafus. Send all the hate mail to him, and he owes us all one. Let's see. You wish you could make one of your neighbors move. I've been there, done that, man. Know all about that. We're good now, though. So we got good neighbors. So all right. Let's see. Inflation in Germany to remain high, says a survey. You really needed a survey for that? And how would the people be able to answer that? Wouldn't that be the businesses? Interesting, huh? Several killed in Kabul airport blast, says media. North Korea orders new ICBM and larger nuclear arsenal. Well, I hope you didn't use Wish, because it's going to take you a little while to get it. So, you can try Alibaba. They might be a little quicker getting your, I don't know. China accuses U.S. of slander and hype over air incident. UK nuclear plants face early shutdown because they just have so much energy to pass around over there. I don't know what they're going to do in the UK. That's a bad situation there. Man strikes... I covered that. Thor the Walrus ruins New Year celebrations. So thanks, Thor the Walrus. I don't know what that's all about, but thanks, man. You totally ruined it now. A nation joins Open Borders Club and adopts Euro, which, incidentally, that's not like joining the Mile High Club. They're just totally different things. Kiev's drone attack plans are thwarted, says Moscow. Covered that. Ukraine took revenge on Israel at the UN, says Axios. Somebody did something over in the group. Timeout. Dude. Oh, okay. Like I say, if something happens with our local group that I admin, I have to look. That's got priority because, it's all good though. Russia-Japan trade surges despite sanctions, says media. Civilians killed and injured. Oh, I think I read that one. As Kiev shells down Donbass. I read that one, sorry. Russia celebrates the New Year. Pretty sure the entire world celebrated the New Year. Kind of how that happens. Pagoda strikes bold truce deal with militants. The words strikes and truce in the same sentence don't even make sense. Up to 500 dying every week because of UK hospital delays. And I did read that one. My apologies. Let's see. Read that one. And that one. Is that it already? Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of headlines today. Record numbers of migrants entered the UK by sea in 2022. And that's it. There wasn't a whole lot of headlines today. It was pretty, for the most part, a quiet day. I guess that depends on where you live. If you live over in Ukraine, it probably wasn't a very quiet day. But news-wise, it was pretty quiet. So, what I expect for January 1st. I mean, you get your crime stuff that comes in from the previous night. Obviously, you have quite a bit of that in most cases. But other news kind of comes in at a trickle because everybody's trying to fight their hangovers and stuff. So it is what it is. I'm sure tomorrow, as per usual, there will be a slew of news because there will be a lot of catch up. So a lot of catch up for at least a couple of days, a few days. So maybe even a little bit of straggler stories from right around or before Christmas will start coming in tomorrow. So it's just kind of how the news cycle works. Things really slow down around the Christmas and New Year holidays as far as news. And typically they do a lot of catching up right after the New Year. So anyway, I think that pretty well covers it. Hexafoods, brother. Yeah, lots of people are talking about recipes and stuff. If you sent a recipe to the Watchman News at yahoo.com, or if you got my other email, my more private email, doesn't matter which one you send it to, I can somehow manage to put it up on the website. Hint, hint. So, but I don't need to know about your, I really don't need to know about your, I'm trying to think of the right word here. your abundance of nuts. So, that's a personal issue. You got you got big balls. I would highly suggest you listen to a lot of AC/DC. They got some pretty good tunes to deal with that. But yeah, sorry. It's the new year. I gotta be an idiot. What can I say? Gotta have fun, man. It's the only kind of fun I can get. We cover, like I say, we cover a lot of dark stuff. So, and I've got a twisted, sick sense of humor, and sometimes I let it come out because, well, that's a coping mechanism. I'm straight up. It's a coping mechanism, and I use it. So, anyway, I am gonna get out of here. Hexafruits, consider sending me that damn recipe, brother. And God willing, we will talk to you all tomorrow. I appreciate y'all coming. Thank you. I seriously mean that. Thank you. Hope to see you guys tomorrow night. Same bat time, same bat channel. Unless YouTube gets, frisky and decides to, do the thing with me and put me on a week or more vacation. Let's hope not. Anyway, I am going to get out of here. I am going to get off like a prom dress. No, it's a little slower than a prom dress tonight, I guess. Anyway, I will talk to you tomorrow. I hope you all have a good evening. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.